Welcome back to the DFS Time Show with Clinton and Will. We have a very special guest tonight. Chris Robin is here at Detroit BC on Twitter. Will, how you doing tonight?
I'm good, man. I'm good. But listen, I'm better now because my man Detroit BC's here. Definitely picked up some pointers from him in August when we went to the Fantasy Expo out there in Canton, Ohio, man. So I can't be doing any better on a Wednesday, man. I can't be doing any better. How are you doing?
Doing good, man. Doing good. It's been a good week. Been a quick week. A little cold here in Minnesota. Set-ins, windy and freezing. You guys kind of know you're from the Midwest, a little northern, a little bit. Yeah.
I live in the Midwest.
Yeah. Yeah. Chris, we'll just jump right in. Where can we find your stuff? What are you up to these days, and what is your specialty?
Sure, I don't want to bore people. You can find me on Twitter at Detroit Beastie, but I do want to say it was a pleasure meeting Will in Canton. We noticed each other. It was like one of those movies where two people are running at each other on the beach. Big hug, a handshake, and we exchanged numbers. Boom, right on the spot. If I remember that correctly, Will, it was just a pleasure to meet you. So what's the most shocking to me is not where to find me, not where my work is, but how it took so long for me to get on the show with you boys. DFS Minute. I mean, that's what I do, and obviously you have a show based around it, so I'm excited to be here this evening.
We're still infants. This is
Nice,
our fourth
nice,
show,
nice.
I think. Yeah, I think we're on our fourth show on these. So we're babies. You're our first guest.
Oh wow! You
Yeah.
know what's wild too? Might be weird or crazy, but 4 is absolutely my lucky number. I was born in April on 4/14, so 4 is very strong in my life if you pay attention to numbers and roulette wheels. So 4, show 4, here I am.
Well,
Love it.
listen, Chris, that's where I was gonna go. I was gonna go roulette wheel right away. I frequent the casinos from time to time. And I pass the roulette tables and the craps tables as I'm going headed down to the sports book. So I may have to think about that this weekend as I'm gonna go ahead and play some wagers.
Nice.
All
Yeah,
right.
roulette is my go-to. And briefly, I do all my stuff is at Team Rise or Fall. Obviously, my DFS videos, bottom of the barrel. But I do some stuff with Woodward Sports. It's here locally to Detroit. And they're looking into, I just got word, we might be doing a live DFS sports betting show
Oh,
from
wow.
the sports book at the casino downtown Detroit. I would be in heaven. That would be in heaven. That would be a
Nice.
dream.
Which one? Motor City.
Yes,
I
absolutely.
like
Motor
Motor
City.
City. That's a good casino hotel. I like that place. I've been there quite a few times. So.
Well,
There's
no.
nothing else really. I mean, Clinton, I don't know if you've ever been to downtown Detroit here, but
No.
Greektown, there's a lot to do outside of the casino. Motor City, that's it. As soon as you walk outside, there's a block full of bandos, and it's just not a good area. So once you get to Motor City, that's really all you got going for you. So to be at the I would be at the sports book anyways. But you're telling me I'm going to
Right.
broadcast with a microphone? That's even better.
I like it. I like it. Nice,
Yeah.
man.
Let's jump right in here. So, Chris, obviously one of your specialties is your article and your notes you're famous for on Twitter for the bottom of the barrel article, which highlights. I'll let you explain it. Tell us what the bottom of the barrel is, and then if you want to highlight 3 or 4 guys from that this week, your article this week, tell us what you like.
Sure. What's shocking to me is the notes. Like, I didn't think anybody gave a crap about those. I've been doing that since day one. And
It's
if
the
all
colors.
this was, yeah, if all this was taken away, I'd still wake up and do my notes. So I post a picture of it one time, and now people go nuts for them, which I'm thankful for. But personally speaking, bottom of the barrel is just, we all know the high price studs, the chalk as they call them, week in and week out in all sports, hockey, NBA, baseball, and now football. So I try not to spend literally no time on those because you can go anywhere. You can type in Google DFS and you're going to get 1,000 articles of why you want to start Patrick Mahomes in a plus matchup. I mean, that goes without saying. And way back when, I'm saying like 2009 or 10, there was no kind of DFS was in its infancy, as you said, kind of like the show here. But personally, I sent out a lot of emails and wanting to write and where can I get in with an idea like this, and nobody got back to me. So I created this article on my own, and this is going to be the 9th or 10th year of bottom of the barrel, as a whole. So that's what it's about. Those low priced guys, low ownership, next to nothing in cost that you can kind of pluck and put in your lineups that will help your lineup pop. The only thing you have to do is make sure you double check what chalk plays you're playing. Delvin Cook, start. Christian McCaffrey, start. And then head
Mhm.
to Team Rise or Fall. Check out bottom of the barrel. I want to do the work for people in terms of matchups and price tag and projections as well. So to me, me, bottom of the barrel, and maybe I'm saying this because it's my baby in terms of broadcasting and writing here, but to me, I don't think there's another article like that on this earth in terms of bottom of the barrel, which in another wild way is saying something given the where DFS and fantasy sports is headed right now. Everybody's podcasting, everybody's writing, everybody's broadcasting. So to come up with something that's, it's different, it's odd, it catches your eye, that people really have latched onto, it's so great. It's such a great humbling feeling. So week in and week out, bottom of the barrel will be there, even in the playoffs, single game slates.
Yep.
You know the deal.
Yeah, DFS doesn't stop. I mean, it just keeps going. So, which is the beauty of it, especially in the playoffs. It's fun. So just for people that are kind of new to DFS, if you watch this later, or you're watching right now, what does because when I first started, it was always confusing to me. A chalk play. What is that? Define a chalk play for everybody.
Chalk play is you could basically say an expensive play, or chalk would be everybody on earth is going to be using him. So again, look at a matchup like in week 11, Christian McCaffrey finally up and running. That's fantastic news. Carolina's playing Washington 16th overall against opposing running backs. So again, everybody's going to flock to Christian McCaffrey. Everybody's going to flock to Najee Harris this week, given the fact I believe Pittsburgh is playing the Chargers, if I remember correctly. So like last week, Najee Harris playing the Detroit Lions. I mean, he was the chalky of the chalkiest there, and he paid off. So to personally, or to anybody else, chalk is just those guys everybody else on earth is going to have, which is fine. You can have chalk plays. Cash games, that's when you get into talking chalk a lot. Cash games, everybody wants the safe picks, and it's a free square. That's another kind of buzzword that's kind of melted off, or it's been created from the word chalk, and things like that. So to me, chalk, very useful in certain spots, but in GPPs, you kind of want to fade the chalk here.
Yeah. All right. Give us real quick. Give us 3 guys from the bottom of the barrel this week that you love.
I'm going to start at quarterback. We'll go down the list. Quarterback, running back, wide receiver, and we'll stack them up. I want to mention Derek Carr. Vegas plays Cincinnati. Cincinnati, 14th overall against opposing quarterbacks. Carr, $7,200 on Fanduel, only $5,900 on DraftKings. Carr and the Raiders, they look to be pushing the issue in terms of on the field, throwing passes, pushing the ball down the field. Briefly, I want to mention what's his name? Justin Fields, because it kind of plays into my stack here. Fields in Baltimore, 23rd overall in terms of defending quarterbacks. Fields, $6,800 on Fanduel, only $5,700 on DraftKings. And in terms of the running backs here, it's very grim. Aside from the chalk and the expensively priced running backs, it gets very grim. I do want to mention Miles Sanders, Philadelphia playing New Orleans. New Orleans is good. They're 3rd overall against opposing running backs. But Miles Sanders, Booby, I didn't know they called him that till about last week. Booby Sanders, $6,000 on Fanduel, only $5,000 on DraftKings. And if Sanders is back and ready to roll, we know he's been working out. He's back on the team. They just got to designate him from IR. If what Jordan Howard and Boston Scott are doing is any indication of what Miles Sanders can do, give me all the Miles Sanders. And then again, 2 rookies, Elijah Moore, Rashaan Bateman. Of the 2, Rashaan Bateman, $5,800 on Fanduel, only $4,500 on DraftKings in Chicago in a plus matchup. They're 28th overall against opposing wide receivers.
A great pick this week. Yeah. All right. Well, thanks for that. I agree. I love Fields this week. I'm going to just pull up. We'll just jump into FanDuel right away here, and then we'll go into DraftKings. Then we'll go into OwnersBox. We'll shut her down and close her out here today. Let me get our FanDuel up. All right. So this is the lineup I set. The quarterback this week, I went with Burrow. Just under those really expensive guys. I like that matchup against the Raiders this week. And then I went Swift. Finally got the carries he was supposed to get last week. This week we'll see. I know he has a shoulder issue now. All of a sudden, went questionable today. Odd thing was those 2 just random guys. I know I saw him at your bottom of the barrel. You had the one running back in Detroit that scored that long touchdown. 2 guys did. He didn't get the touchdowns, but he had like 130 yards or whatever it was. Then I'm pivoting over to Montgomery this week. David Montgomery. I love that matchup with Baltimore. I actually think that game's going to be close. I think the Bears keep it close against Baltimore this week, and they'll run a lot. And as Fields and Montgomery, I think are both going to have a lot of rushing yards this week. Going to Diggs, he finally had that breakout. Going right back to him this week against the Colts. He is the expensive play on my roster this week. Them dropping down to Thielen. Jefferson took the show last week. Thielen still had 5 grabs, 60 yards, I think. Just something about him against the Packers. I think he does pretty well against the Packers. I'm actually going to the game, which is going to be exciting. Something to watch, something to cheer for. Rashaan Bateman, just like you said, in the rookies, he's a steady 5-6 catches right now. He's going to have that breakout game. And basically the reason why I keep throwing him in there, A, he's cheap. And B, I want to be there for that breakout when, Baltimore gives him a couple touchdowns. And, it was kind of a weird game last week for him. He didn't do anything until like the fourth quarter on that last drive. Piled it up there in the last drive. I usually don't spend big on tight end, but this week I'm going to go Travis Kelce in Fanduel. He's the guy. If you want any production, a guaranteed production out of the tight end spot, you have to play him. Then another rookie, Devonta Smith. I think a lot of people are going to play Smith this week after his, he had a 2 touchdown performance. He had a touchdown the week before. I think a lot of people are going to play him, but he fit right perfectly in that flex spot. And then my defense is going to come as a surprise. I think they've been playing really well lately. I think they're gelling. Patrick Peterson might be back this week. I know they're going up against the Packers. Zimmer, sometimes you can tend to frustrate Rodgers a little bit. And the Vikings have been getting some turnovers. So I went cheap on them, just expecting a couple more turnovers this week for the Vikings. What do you guys think? We'll start off with you.
So I like everything except for that Minnesota Vikings play.
Course, yes.
Listen. It's just that defense there might be a little in trouble. I think that Aaron Jones is going to affect the game, right? Being out there, but I think that AJ Dillon's going to get more carries and he is productive back there in the backfield for Green Bay. But then Aaron Rodgers, you just never know. So I think this is a team. I think this may be a game where it's a shootout. I could see it pretty much coming down to the last quarter, the last couple of minutes in the fourth quarter. So other than that, I am on board, man. I am on board with everything else. I like that Joe Burrow play as well. I was looking at him before when I was filling out my lineup on OwnersBox, but I went with another quarterback, and we'll get into that. But it's interesting because none of these players that you have, I have on my lineup, which is interesting. So it's going to be interesting to see what Chris has over here for his.
We have a couple of double ups. Yeah. But what are you thinking, Chris?
Well, first and foremost, it's a fantastic line, but what's foreign to me is Travis Kelce. Since day one, since I started playing fantasy football in the 90s and then DFS came around, I have always punted the tight end. So,
me too, yep.
Not right now, but when the broadcast is over and you get in bed tonight and you're fooling around on your phone, just get Travis Kelce out of there and put in a guy like Adam Troutman. Look at that. Adam Troutman, New Orleans is in Philadelphia. Philadelphia, they're dead last against opposing tight ends. There's just no way Adam Troutman does not score a touchdown this week, and he's only $4,800. So you wipe out Kelce, put in Troutman, or even Cole Kmet at $5,100, and you're going to have thousands of dollars left over. And that's what we talk about when we say tinkering, right? Yep. You get Travis Kelce out, you put Troutman or Kmet in there, you have $4,000, and then boom, you're like, holy smokes, I can get rid of the Minnesota Vikings defense, which isn't a horrible play, but then I can put in instead of David Montgomery, I can get Joe Mixon or something along those lines. So tonight, later on, text me in the morning and we'll see what we get after you get rid of Travis Kelce.
Yeah, I got a couple other lineups to set up too. This is one of the main ones I did this week. I have my article coming out on Friday, which actually has in the honorable mentions of values, it has Mixon, Kmet. I think I put in there too. And I almost put Kmet in, but I had Montgomery in there, and I just like him a lot this week. But yeah, I'll mess with it, and I'll come back to you, and we'll chat it up about that. Let me jump over to our DraftKings lineup. This is a lineup, Chris, you sent me earlier. It's just going to pop right up. You can go ahead and run down, give us the run through on your thoughts on that.
Well, I mentioned Justin Fields. He's also in bottom of the barrel. His price still remains at a very reasonable, price tag here, given the production. But I like what you said when you, Clinton, when you mentioned Rashaan Bateman, right? You want him in your lineup when he breaks out. And look, Justin Fields, he's had 2 very good games back to back, right? And I still don't understand if Matt Nagy realizes, the Chicago Bears head coach, I still don't know if he realizes what he has in the talent that is Justin Fields. This kid is phenomenal. He's electric, and I like him to just go nuts this week against Baltimore. And everybody, folks are going to look at the matchup and go, well, Baltimore, they always assume Baltimore with the offense. The offense and Lamar Jackson has nothing to do with the defense in terms of defending Justin Fields here. So again, the Baltimore Ravens can be had in the air. I think Fields gets it done out with his legs. I think he finds the end zone with his legs and a couple touchdown passes in this one. Moving down a list, you look at A.J. Dillon, no-brainer, right? This guy is a kid, stud, whatever you want to call him. He is fantastic, Quadzilla, whatever you want to call him. And again, he might be, hand to the sky, hand to God right now. Correct me if I'm wrong here, but A.J. Dillon just might be the most highly owned player in Week 11 on all DFS formats, given what we've seen him do and given the unfortunate injury news to Aaron Jones, which he'll be back. It was just I believe it was a sprained MCL, PCL, something like that. But while it stands, use A.J. Dillon now. And briefly, Dillon, I believe on Fanduel last week, $5,300 was a nice mention in bottom of the barrel. And then on FanDuel this week, and even DraftKings, he's up over $7,000 on FanDuel. And look at him now on DraftKings, $6,200. So the people aren't stupid that set the prices here. Joe Mixon, no brainer, about 18 to 19 points a game in terms of DFS formats in Vegas. I love that game from an overall perspective. I'd have no issue stacking that whole game if you wanted to. Moving down the list, CeeDee Lamb. I'm trying to paint a picture with my lineup here, right? Joe Mixon, A.J. Dillon, CeeDee Lamb, no-brainer. Not going to spend a ton of time there. He caught 2 touchdowns and had more points than most wide receivers in Week 10, and I don't even believe he played the fourth quarter and half of the third quarter. He injured his arm. No worries, Mike McCarthy says. CeeDee Lamb, good to go. He's been in the gym and with the team all week so far. Darnell Mooney, that's just a case of stacking him with Justin Fields, and I know it's a bummer for any Chicago Bears fans who are way into Allen Robinson. I'm one of them. Will, he's a Detroit guy. Allen Robinson played downtown at Cass Tech. I mean, he's a Detroit guy through and through. In his profile on Twitter, hashtag Detroit versus everybody. So it is a bummer for A-Rob. But Darnell Mooney seems to be the apple of Justin Fields' eyes. And when you look at it, Baltimore, again, can be had through the air. DJ Moore, Washington at Carolina. Against the opposing team, Washington, they haven't been so hot on defense. Right now against opposing wide receivers, DJ Moore, they're 31st against wide receivers, as I was saying. But to me, DJ Moore has always been a stud in terms of racking up yardage. Can he get over the touchdown hump? And I love the idea that Cam Newton is back. Let's go and let's get this thing rolling with DJ Moore, with Cam Newton. And it helps when you have Christian McCaffrey as your running back here. Adam Troutman, I already went over him. New Orleans at Philadelphia. They are awful against tight ends. I mentioned it in bottom of the barrel, so I put my money where my mouth is. No, I'll say it here live. No way Adam Troutman does not score a touchdown in Week 11. You heard it here first. And then moving down to my flex, I didn't have much money left, and it just happened that way. So when I got to the flex, what do you want? A wide receiver, tight end? I'm from that old school, fantasy football mentality where I always like a running back in my flex, right? There's guaranteed touches there. You don't have to worry about targets or a game script. And Eli Mitchell, they love this kid there, and he's going to see, I would imagine, set in stone, you're looking at minimum, 12, 13 carries minimum. He goes into the game with that burden here. So again, Eli Mitchell in Jacksonville. Would it be shocking to see the 49ers give this kid 20 carries? Although got a questionable tag, no issue. I wouldn't have said this or added him in my lineup if he was not going to play. Eli Mitchell, heavy-handed, ready to go. And then my DST, Washington at Carolina. The Carolina Panthers, $2,700 on DraftKings. I love the play. When people talk about DSTs and seasonal formats or even DFS purposes, people, they always look for like the gimmies, right? You look at Cleveland against Detroit. Everybody stacks, Cleveland here. But in this one, Washington and Carolina, I don't care if Washington's an outstanding offense because it's not about the points that get scored on you. Sure, a couple negative points, but DSTs, especially in DFS, it's about the sacks. It's about the turnovers. That's where you're getting a majority of your points here. And the Carolina defensive line and their linebackers, they're stout, and I firmly believe they're going to make life a living hell for the Washington football team's quarterback and Antonio Gibson. All of you who think Gibby's going to run it back 2 touchdowns, not going to happen this week. I absolutely love the Carolina Panthers in Week 11 here, boys.
I like that. I like the Panthers defense. I think they'll control the clock too, running the ball, with McCaffrey and Newton, whatever they want to do there. I'm not a Troutman guy. I'm going to take your word for it. I'll put him in the lineup somewhere. The rest of it, I love. Like you said, the AJ Dillon ownership scares me. But it's okay to have one of those guys, in your lineup. There's nothing wrong with having somebody that's owned by a ton of people. It's just like last week, Dearness, Stevenson, all those guys that had to fill in last week, and they all had good games, So, these backup running backs are capable. Same thing in Minnesota here. Like if Cook goes down, you can play Madison any week, if he goes down. But I love that mix and play. I have him, put aside in Fields too. He's in my honorable mentions. I like that a lot. Will, what are you thinking on this?
Man, that's good. I'm actually gonna go ahead and I was listening to Chris giving his feedback on your lineup, and I'm gonna have to punt on the tight end pick as well, and go with somebody else at a well, not Troutman, but at a lesser value. We'll see there, but it's going to be interesting. But I do, out of all the players that he does have, that Chris does have, again, I like the lineup. I do have Elijah Mitchell for San Fran. I just think that who's not going to go off against the Jacksonville Jaguars. So I do like him to be very productive back there. And Jacksonville Jaguars defense is nothing to nothing to write home about. So I like that play. I like that play.
And really quick, I want to take back what I said about what I said about Elijah. 12 carries. I think 16 or 17 carries is set in stone. We might see a case here where Elijah gets to like 22, 23 carries. And as it stands now, Elijah Mitchell averaging 4.8 yards a carry. It's unbelievably fantastic. Not going to get a ton of receptions, but when the kid pounds the rock like this, what does it matter? Give me Eli Mitchell all day in week 11.
You're not worried about the pin in his finger?
No, I'm good. If the pin was in his elbow or in his neck, like Frankenstein, that'd be an issue. But pin in his finger, no worry. We've seen linebackers and even defensive backs, even running backs. They play with that club on their hand. Running back, you put it in the breadbasket and boom, you're gone. So I would imagine if he's got a pin in his thumb, he'll have some sort of protective wrap around his hand, so he can use his opposite hand to stuff people down, and we'll go from there. You got plenty of other pass catchers in that San Francisco offense. Deebo Samuel stud, Brandon Ayuk is coming on strong. So Eli Mitchell, very clear path to 20 plus carries in week 11 against Jacksonville as they control the game and the clock, and ho-hum, let's win, let's leave, and let's split.
Yeah, I like it. All right, let's jump over to OwnersBox. We'll set this lineup today. Quick plug about OwnersBox, still the new kid on the block. It's actually pretty cool. I won $50 last week on it on one of my lineups, which was really nice. But yeah, super flex, no defenses. It is a little harder with that super flex option. You pick 2 wide receivers, you throw in the super flex. Go to the website. You can go to idpguys.org. We have some ads that run on our site for OwnersBox. Click on it. Free $25 deposit, or get $25 free with your first deposit. And usually there's a free code for each week to play. But yeah, let's go ahead and jump right in it, Will. What do we got? I think you're muted.
I take a little different approach there. When I look at a DFS, it doesn't matter whether it's either football or basketball. I do both. So I tend to look at the totals that are set, and then pretty much go from there. So the highest total set for this week coming up is going to be the Dallas Cowboys versus Kansas City Chiefs. So I want to go ahead and put a couple plays there. Last week, Dak had a total of 296 yards with 2 touchdowns, and Atlanta wasn't able to do anything. So just the fact that he was able to throw for close to 300 yards plus adding 2 touchdowns there, I think it's not going to be the same kind of game that they go against Mahomes. So I think that they're going to have to go ahead and throw the ball. And so he's going to be able to pick up some points there, throwing it out to those guys on CeeDee Lamb and Amari Cooper, even Dak and Pollard out the backfield there. So I like him at my quarterback spot. A little expensive, but I think he's definitely worth that salary there. Again, we touched on this before. Chris definitely put him in his flex spot. I like Elijah Mitchell in San Francisco going up against Jacksonville Jaguars. I think he's going to have a big game against, again, who wouldn't, against the Jacksonville Jaguars, so I had to put him in there. Dearness Johnson. Listen, Detroit, sorry, Chris, but Detroit's not going to be able to do a lot with anybody on that offensive side. So whether it be passing or rushing, and I just think that a team that gets humiliated pretty much comes back the next week or the following week and does a much better job. So I like Cleveland to bounce back and win this game convincingly and put up a lot of points there. So next guy here at the wide receiver spot, we got Emmanuel Sanders. Like this guy all year long. I mean, I was pretty high on him coming into the season. He not only for real life football, but also fantasy football. He's able always to get you like a touchdown and also get you some yardage. So I'm banking on both happening this week. Not only yardage, but also if you could add a touchdown or even two, that'd be good. Waddle, again, my man Tua is back. I think Tua, he came in relief on Thursday Night Football against the Ravens. You saw what he was able to do. I think that him coming back as a starter this Sunday, and he's had some time to get over that finger injury that pretty much had him out for a couple of weeks there. So Waddle is a good play. I think Waddle is going to be his target there. Again, they played together when they're at the University of Alabama, so I like that play there. George Kittle. Now again, I may have to punt this. I may have to punt this, or I may just have to do another lineup and do some switching here. Chris talked me out of George Kittle, but I will tell you this: when you look at the top tier tight ends, like even Kelsey, right? So you're looking at Kelsey, Waller, and Kittle. Those guys really don't come off to me as tight ends. They're pretty much wide receivers. Designated as tight ends, right, or in tight end bodies, because those guys do things that not your normal tight end can do, right? So we saw George Kittle, what he was able to do last week, and he had a very, very big game. So I think there's going to be more of the same, and especially adding a touchdown. I think just like Chris alluded to with Troutman, I think you could definitely put down or lock in Kittle for at least a touchdown this game coming up against the Jaguars. Again, I don't think they're going to be able to stop anybody on that offense. Robbie Anderson, listen, Cam Newton's back. Although he was very happy. So that sent me a little message there. Washington is without Chase. Chase Young is out, so I think that's gonna give Cam a little bit more time. But then I think Cam is hungry to prove himself, so I think he's gonna go ahead and do his thing in the air, especially coming in as a starter. Robbie Anderson should have a big game. Now again, he's had some issues pretty much all season long, dropping some balls that are clearly or should have been caught and like touch all 10 fingers and both palms. So that's an issue that I hope he corrects. David Peoples-Jones, my man OBJ is out in LA. With the Rams, we saw that's pretty much clearing up a spot there. So it's going to be between David Peoples-Jones and also you got Landry out there. So I like Peoples-Jones to go ahead and do his thing. He was at a nice slot here again at 4,400. Good stop for the flex spot there. And I think, again, like I said, I think that Cleveland, this is why I got two Cleveland players in my lineup, because I just think that Cleveland's going to go ahead and put up a lot of points and pretty much redeem themselves from that embarrassment against the Patriots this past Sunday. And then at the super flex spot, I was thinking about going quarterback, but again, that total set at 56 with Kansas City at Dallas, that's high at 56. So I like Elliott to go ahead and do some things. So I'm looking for him to probably touch about 150 total yards with rushing and passing. So it's a good play. Again, not the cheapest option, but I just think that he's gonna be able to get it done. And I think I like that stack between Ezekiel Elliott and also Dak Prescott.
Yeah, are you with Dearness in there? Because Chubb, he's not been put off. He hasn't been taken off the COVID list, but he should be off, right? Soon.
Well, yeah. So, but if he's not, I mean, it's not like definite, right? I mean, it's early, right? So, I mean, we record on Wednesday.
It's really early.
Go ahead and play around with it, but I just don't want to go ahead and you could always edit these lineups prior to kickoff on Sunday. So if I hear or see anything different, then I'll definitely make some changes. But again, I mean, Chris talked me out of my my lock for tight end there, so which I like. Again, Chris has been dropping these these locks, man, since I met them. I've been at a CVS a couple of times picking up some Spiral notebooks. People think I'm a student, but I'm not. I'm just writing down my notes and writing down some of my picks there. So I got to attribute my couple of my 3 subject and one subject notebook, Spiral notebooks to Chris, man. He gave me some gems out there in Canton over the Fantasy Expo.
Yeah, I think he could be a good play anyway, even if Chubb plays. They do like to run a lot, and I think they'll do that this week.
Yeah, definitely. If you look at the way that the Browns run their offense, I mean, you got a situation where it's both Chubb and it's Kareem Hunt back there. So the fact that Kareem Hunt's not playing, I mean, you're gonna have Johnson pretty much spell Chubb when he's not in there. So he's gonna get some touches and also some receptions out the backfield.
Yeah, go ahead, Chris. What do you think?
No, it's an outstanding lineup, and I'm not kidding here. I took notes on Will's lineup, and as he was talking, and if you can zoom in or bring up the IDP guys weekly lineup notepad.
So Nate is super happy right now.
I got from Nate, yeah. Nate slid me one in Canton, and I use it all the time. And why not use my IDP guys notepad on an IDP guys broadcast with you, Clinton and Will here? So again, Kittle is a fantastic play, and I love the way this guy plays football. I know it's NFL football, but he plays like he's in the WWE. Did you see him pancake? Absolutely just flatten Von Miller on Monday night, which was good to see, and find the end zone. That's the George Kittle I'm into. That's the George Kittle we need to look for here. So I don't want to talk you out of tight ends, but George Kittle, absolutely a stud. Manny Sanders, Robbie Anderson, DPJ, all guys that are in bottom of the barrel in week 11. They're fantastic plays for numerous reasons. And Will, I'm not kidding you. The Robbie Anderson blurb in my article was exactly what you said. It was the idea that Cam Newton's in town. He took a selfie with Robbie Anderson, and Robbie Anderson is excited. And let's roll here. Jalen Waddle has popped up in a lot of what I'm doing. Not only my notes and crunching numbers, but in a lot of optimizers too, which is fine. But I would imagine Jalen Waddle's ownership percentage might be a little bit higher than normal, given the matchup and given the fact, if everybody's going in on that Tua's a comeback story, the way they treated him like a dog last week, and he came back and he played well, and everybody loves a comeback story here. And again, briefly, Will, I love what you're saying about the Kansas City and the Dallas game. So as you know, I'm predisposed to thinking, outside the box, cheaper options. So to me, Amari Cooper and Lamb, they wouldn't fit in the article. So call me crazy here. Not only did I add Cedric Wilson, but I love the idea of Michael Gallup as well this week as cheaper punt plays in a game with a good game script and the over-under. Last I looked, I believe you said it, but as it stands right now, Dallas at Kansas City, over-under is at 56. Almost, I believe, 6 or 7 more points higher than any game on the schedule. So I've been trying this new theory, Will. Call me crazy, but I'm pivoting from players in the same game to players in the same game, right? So instead of Lamb and Cooper, I'm going to pivot to Michael Gallup and Cedric Wilson and see what we get in a GPP. Just something I've been trying, and we'll see what we get. But overall, Will, fantastic line. I'm really digging it. We're simpatico on Eli Mitchell and, Dearness Johnson in Cleveland. Yeah, even if Nick Chubb is back, is he going to be the 25 carry Nick Chubb, or is he going to be slow, sluggish? I don't know, but I would imagine even if Chubb is active, Dearness Johnson is the man right now for Cleveland. So he's going to see a ton of work. Outstanding line, Will.
My man, I appreciate that, man. I appreciate that. Listen, again, I got to attribute it to the Spiral Notebook. I'm just over here flipping pages, taking pages out. So the Spiral Notebook has definitely helped me out, man. And this is fun, man. This is fun. So again, the owner's box is a little bit different because you don't have a defense in there, so you got to get a little more creative here. We're trying to add another player, whether it be quarterback or tight end, wide receiver, running back. So that's what gets me. But yeah, I like that. I may have to do another lineup or two, man, with Gallup and Wilson in there. So we'll definitely see.
Yeah, I like it. Yeah, let's get wrapped up here. Let's jump over what we usually do to Underdog. I'll let both you guys run these picks tonight. I'll read them off to you. Quick rapid fire. This is just for the Thursday game. Just a little over under as you normally would on Underdog. First, quick shout out to Hollywood. Our own Hollywood Titan says hello on YouTube. So hello, Hollywood. But let's run through it real quick here. We got Mac Jones at 4.5 rushing yards.
Man, just by default. I mean, yeah, over. We're gonna go over 4.5 yards.
I have him around 9 or 10, so yeah, give me the over.
That's good. Mac Jones 250.5 passing yards.
Under. Oh, definitely. I got him for about 220, 230, and that's it. I firmly believe Mac Jones is only going to complete 18 or 20 passes. They're just going to run it down Atlanta's throat here, so no need for Mac Jones to toss it around.
Yeah, I think he's going to miss by about like 10 or 15 yards, so I like the under on that as well.
All right. Damian Harris, 61.5 if he plays, which he wasn't on the injury report today, so he's playing, but 61.5 rushing yards.
Over. It's going to be close. I got him for right at 65 rushing yards, so over.
Yeah, ditto. I got him around like mid to late 60s, even low 70s. So over on that, like Chris said, Matt Jones is not going to have to do a lot. He's going to pretty much just have to manage this game, and I don't think that Atlanta's going to be able to compete. There's going to be more of the same what happened last week. They're not going to be able to put up any points against the Patriots, so they're not going to have to do a lot. They could just go ahead and hand the ball off.
All right, yeah, and then this guy here, probably the coolest moment in the NFL, maybe this year, got his first touchdown last week. The whole team celebrated with him, jumped around, ran around. Jacoby Myers, 56.5 receiving yards.
I got him around 60 to 65, so I've always rooted for this kid, so how can you go under on this one? Give me the over on Jacoby Myers, and granted, Atlanta 24th overall against opposing wide receivers, so give me the over on this one, and to be honest, I think he goes over on 3 or 4 receptions. That's all he'll need here.
Yeah, big play threat out there, so I like the over on this player as well.
Yep. Here's a guy I just added in one of my dynasty leagues. He was just kind of sitting there. Kendrick Bourne, 35.5 receiving yards. A big week last week.
I love the over again. If I have him, this is, I just did my Thursday night football video, so stuff is fresh. I got it all in front of me too in my notepad. I have Bourne 5 targets, 3 receptions, 45 yards. So give me the over barely.
I'm with the over as well. I hate betting the under, man. Life is too short for that. So give me the over on that.
It's hard. Aguilar, 34.5 receiving yards.
I like that to go over. Probably I got him at like 40, 42 to 45. And again, it's one of those things where it could probably be like a 2 to 3 reception deal where he gets over that number easily.
Yeah, I have right now. I got Nelson Aguilar. Let me bring it up. I got it on the computer and in my notes here. I have Aguilar right at 35 yards here. So like Will said, things too short. Let's go the over on Kendrick Bourne here. Again, yeah, like you said, on 2, maybe 3 receptions. That's it. 1 play.
Mr. Touchdown Machine the last 4 weeks. Hunter Henry, 32.5 receiving yards.
I'm going under on that one, and I'm cool with it because I think, Hunter Henry, 4 targets, and that's even ambitious. 2, maybe 3 receptions. And, from a DFS perspective, Hunter Henry can catch 2 passes for 25 yards, but he can have 2 touchdowns as well. So in terms of yardage, give me the under here.
All right.
Yeah, same deal here. See him pretty much getting at least a touchdown and probably even 2, but again, won't be pretty much a target outside of the red zone for Mac Jones.
All right, Matt Ryan onto the Falcons team here, 2.5 rushing yards.
These rushing yards are so low, man. Just by default, I'm like, if you just scramble a little bit, you should be able to get
over
3 to 5 yards. Yeah, exactly. So I'm gonna go over. I just think that number is too low. So I got him probably at 5 yards.
Yeah, I got him at 7. Not a big difference. So yeah, give me the over. Literally 4th and 1. All he has to do is lean forward, and the offensive line pushes him, and boom, you're over.
Yeah, well, he's like 6'3", right? 6'2".
Right. 4, I think 6'4".
Yeah, taller. Yeah, Matt Ryan again, 248.5 passing yards.
Smash over on that one. I have him. The floor for Matt Ryan tomorrow or on Thursday night is around 260 passing yards. So give me the over all day there.
Yeah, I agree. Again, I just think that they're going to pretty much be playing from behind early in this game, and they're going to have no choice but to go ahead and pass the ball around. But then again, Mike Davis hasn't really done anything, so I mean, there's no incentive for those guys to pretty much hand the ball over. Also, Cordero Patterson, we don't know his status, so I just think that it's going to be more of a game there for Matt Ryan to go ahead and do this thing, especially if they try to come out with the win. So I definitely like over 248.5 passing yards on this one.
All right. Mr. Disappointment, Russell Gage, 40.5 receiving yards.
I'm gonna go under.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go under this right here.
I got Russell Gage at like a healthy amount of targets, 7, maybe 8 targets, 4 or 5 receptions, which is nice, but it's just not going to amount to anything. Right now, Russell Gage is only averaging 9.9 yards a reception. So you look at 3 receptions times 9, that's only 27, basically in my little kid brain when I'm doing math. So give me the under. I have him for right at about 40.
All right. Zacchaeus, 32.5 receiving yards.
I'm cool with the over here. I got him around. I think a good spot for Zacharias. I don't know how you say his last name. About 45 yards. 5 targets, 3 receptions, 45 yards, and I'm happy.
Yeah, I'm with that as well. Yeah, for like 42, 45 reception yards. So give me the over on that. I mean, he's pretty much been playing better than Gage the last couple of weeks. So I like that play.
Yeah. All right, last one. Kyle Pitts, 63.5 receiving yards.
I like the over on this one, man. I like the over on this one. I could see it being like low 70s, so like 71 to 74 reception yards at the very least.
New England is tough on tight ends. Now I know, Kyle Pitts, people say generational and they throw out all these, big words. And this kid's the real deal. He's a stud, but New England's fifth overall against opposing tight ends. Given his price tag on Fanduel and Draftkings, I think it could be an issue for anybody that plays him. I have Kyle Pitts, 8-9 targets. Awesome. 4 or 5 receptions, right at about 60 yards here. So I'm going to go under. I know it's not popular, but I think he could even finish with like 55, which would be awful, but hey, that's what it is.
62 you'll get. Right down the under.
Right on the money.
Yeah. All right. Well, that wraps us up. Chris, I know you have another thing to get to tonight, but let's real quick just go ahead and repeat where we can find your work. We also thank you for joining us tonight. We're really excited about having you on. It's really nice to have a guest with us, to jump in and clamor and talk us off our cliffs, putting in expensive tight ends.
And I can talk. Sometimes, I get on a broadcast and people, hey, Chris, do you want to be on the broadcast? And then I get rolling because like you will know, I have notebooks upon notebooks and I live and breathe DFS and sports betting. So I can talk and talk. Sometimes you just got to go, hey, Chris, shut the hell up. We got to move the show along here. But if left to my own devices, I will talk and talk. I appreciate you having me on. I'm not a big plugger promoter. You can find me on Twitter at Detroit Beastie. I'd like to think I'm not hard to find if you're looking for good DFS content, some positivity. And I think, individually we can only do so much, but when we come together, help each other, that's when we can get to the moon. That's when we can, get our stuff out and rolling here. So thanks for having me on, boys. What a blast.
Appreciate it. Yeah. Will, where's your stuff? How's it going? What you been up to?
Good, man. Good. Yes. Same thing. Not a big plug guy, man, but I'm on, you can find me on Twitter at @biasedopinions_, just doing different stuff on there and then putting out some value over big sports betting guy, player props guy, DFS. So yeah, you can find me on Twitter at @biasedopinions_.
Yep. I'm on Twitter at Clinton Holmgren. Been doing a lot to try to just push other people's work lately. Just getting it out there and, collaborating with people and things like that. Cause I just feel like it's just a much more fun space when everybody's working together and having fun. There's plenty of people out there to read your stuff. Go ahead and promote others' work as well. All my stuff is at idpguys.org. I run the DFS Minute article, YouTube video, and then we do the show here on Wednesdays. Article drops on Fridays. But yeah, really enjoyed it. Chris, we appreciate you joining us here today. Next week, I think we're going to try to get on Tuesday night due to Thanksgiving week and some traveling stuff if we can. If not, we'll record and it'll drop on Wednesday. But yeah, Chris, we appreciate it. You have yourself a good night.
Anytime, boys. Anytime you need me, I'm there. Thank you.
Chris, appreciate you coming on, man.
All right, have a good one. Go win some money.